Chapter 2. Outnumbered? Each victory for the Black Dragon squad brought recognition and groups of rebels willing to fight with YuGiOh. The Empire sends troops out to crush revolts, but their forces are growing flustered as the rebellion spreads. The influence of the Black Dragon squad grows each time it rushes in to aid local revolts. It came to aid the Mariarden rebels today, but the enemy is much larger than expected. The battle is not going well. Red 2 standing by, all four lit and in the green. Welcome back to YuGiOh the Falsebound Kingdom, and we're sticking with the teams we've got here. There'll be a little bit of work to be done, and I'd better actually tweak the items so I can remove that. And scroll down to... There we go. So that will give me much better healing. This team will do alright. I'll put some more miles into this one, because unfortunately Dharma Cannon didn't get to do very much. But we're pretty set with our 3 marshals. We kind of have to be pretty set with our 3 marshals. YuGiOh's monsters will continue getting stronger, and these 2 will keep sharing the same attack. Let's get going on today's battle and fight the odds against us. Is it just me, or are there a lot of them? They're going to overwhelm us with sheer numbers. Huh? That's weird. There definitely weren't this many when I checked things out. Not to worry though, I'm sure they won't be getting any more reinforcements. Jeez, that's encouraging! Alright. Let's get our gear going and get ready to fight. We will have some pretty tough challenges coming at us. We've got a very slow dragon team and a couple of ground teams. Might put Malaerica on first watch. Then we can get Giselle ready to go on the next one. Are those guns going to be ready? Doesn't look like it for that team. But maybe on the next one. Yeah, they might take a little while. So YuGiOh out next. And then we're ready to go. So we're facing off against some old favourites when it comes to attacking a base. A range of Castle Adept adversaries. Now I can at least replenish all my gear this time. So we're looking to take out Shadow Ghoul, which shouldn't be too hard. Take out the ones, if you know you've got an advantage against the enemy, take them out quickly. Continue to use chip damage. And of course, Dungeon Worm might actually have the chance to paralyze opponents. We haven't seen it for a while, comparatively speaking. Yep, it's got the ability to poison things now, which just makes life that little bit more infuriating. But we've got good healing. So yeah, Fairy's Gift is not going to be super powerful, but it holds out pretty well because it gets decent HP, and you can dish out some pretty decent damage with its mad... Congratulations, Shadow Ghoul. You got 2 turns in a row, and you proceeded to waste everyone's time. I'm saving Hinotama to wipe it out. I mean, why not use it, really? So, basically just continue chipping away, take them all down, and we'll probably take some time to introduce some more monsters because we are going to get some new ones here and there. We do get quite a lot of monsters in YuGiOh's story. All the ones that conveniently didn't show up in the first 2, apart from a couple, do turn up here. So, yes, we are going to wind up finding Kazajin. We are going to wind up finding battle ox and a couple of others here and there that will prove fairly useful. I think on it almost feels like there's more to find here than there is in Kaiba's story. Kaiba's story's got a couple of occasions where you find a lot of monsters, but it's mostly Yugi's and Joey's where you do the recruiting. Probably because Kaiba's a bit of an asshole and nobody really wants to work for him. Especially since you don't get paid. Alright, that one's down. Very good results. Very good indeed. And a few good levels for Malairika himself. Okay, where is that? Alright, let's actually get Giselle into the base. See how we go. Might be able to do my patented runaway trick. Are they gonna go off? Yes, just! Centimeters before the base. They may as well just be there. Do we have any healing to worry about? There's the next question. Don't think we did last battle, but... Alright, who's first? Shadow Ghoul. Which does actually hit the target. And so what are our enemy's stats? No items. But yeah, despite the fact Shadow Ghoul has Castle Adept, it's still just outright worse. There we are. Quick, rapid-fire damage. And we'll at least be able to dish out some decent damage to our enemies now. Might as well keep them on lockdown. And there we go. This one should be fairly easy, but we do... Having the benefit of equipment really, really helps out. Makes life a lot easier. Because we'll be able to heal our teams, we can set up our defenses really well to do a lot of damage. It's pretty cruisy. And you've also got a lot of good monsters from previous stories to wind up falling back on. Which is another significant advantage. Joey's story is probably comparatively easier as a result. Alright, good, good, good. Nice. I'll set up some healing. For Giselle's team, and then we can take on the other team that's coming in. Whoops. So, Joey's team I want going up here. Who is at Room Up Pan anyway? They're all Darklands monsters. Malairika's going to have a field day. So, what have we got to deal with? No items and not a huge amount of power. This should be fairly easy. Leveraging that magic well. See, it's important, no matter what game you're playing, to try and get as much as you can out of all the abilities that you have on the table. Because you never know what could come in handy with some sort of crazy build. And that is probably one of the fun things about a range of the card games I play. When you get to build some sort of really crazy and janky deck that just has a whole lot of fun to do. Alright, so... let's dish out a Hinatama. Let's attack that one. Now, if I've miscalculated, I will immediately run. Oh. They don't like Dharma Cannon. Is it honestly the strongest monster on my team in terms of attack? Alright, so we'll lock those guys down and then I'll get healing. I think it is, I'm going to have to check that out. But yeah, being able to build some really janky, silly and entertaining deck build is always one of the most entertaining parts of any card game. Just doing something strange that's a bit of fun and winds up maybe accidentally being anti-meta along with it is truly splendid. It's definitely the fun of it all. You can come up with so many odd ideas. It's one of the things I like about Cardfight Vanguard. The luck factor does allow you a bit of inspiration, so you can do crazy things like build cat-themed decks. Because I do genuinely like Great Nature's cat-themed monsters. You have quite a few of those along the way. And yeah, you can just put together some really good ideas and have a complete blast with it all. Some of the builds will be a little bit odd, but they just do wind up falling into place really, really well. Because they'll just wind up clicking here and there. The fact that you can't mix clans does wind up preventing some of the jankiest builds. But you can do some really, really silly things when it comes to stuff like the Extreme Fight mode. Extreme Fight allows you to basically put together all sorts of insane builds because you've got any clan to work with, which could come up with some really interesting ideas here and there. But overall, even just conventional builds that don't necessarily use typical boss cards can be very entertaining. And with Yu-Gi-Oh! You can often wind up coming up with some really ridiculous build that just winds up working fairly well or confuses people because it's so against what normal gameplay would suggest. This is a good result. There we go. Not bad, Giselle. Not bad at all. Very impressive results. Now, Giselle's team. Creuel is actually slightly stronger because of its 2 items. But that's okay. Malairica will send out this way. Joey's team has continued to do very well. Probably should put a trader in here and see what we get. Just the basics. Bit of a shame. Anyway, we have kind of seen this team, so let's put in some more profiles. Battleox made its international debut in Kaiba's starter deck and has appeared in newer versions of Kaiba decks. In Japan, it debuted in Booster 6 and made several other appearances. Battleox seems to be a fairly common monster for Kaiba to use. It does have pretty decent attack, although it probably isn't worth using it for its fusion summon outside this game. For some reason, the early anime and video games make this card fire resistant. As in, Battleox itself, not the actual card. The card will burn up, don't set it on fire. And it can destroy any pyro monsters on the field when summoned in janky early video games. Under the attribute system, however, it was a forest monster and automatically lost to fire attribute monsters. Not great. Don't play with fire. Dragon Seeker made its international debut in Tournament Pack 2, then Tournament Pack 4 and Dark Beginning 2. In Japan, it debuted in Booster 5 and made a few reappearances. With a Japanese name like Dragon Killer, you'd expect this to handle dragons pretty well, and its effect does precisely that. It's a little too specialised in the card game, given its stats are good but not great by any means, and you need to be facing a deck with dragons as key components, or else this is deadweight. Admittedly, DNA surgery helps too. In this game, its attack deals extra damage to dragon monsters, and they are fairly common adversaries along the way. It's not quite as good a Dragon Slayer as Warriors, but it gets good stats and is fairly fast. It'll serve well. Lava Battle Guard made its international debut in Metal Raiders, reappearing in a Star Pack and Legendary Collection Joey's World. In Japan it debuted in Volume 7 and appeared in their version of Metal Raiders. Some things are awesome but impractical. Lava Battle Guard cuts out the awesome and leaves the impractical with a side order of crippling specificity. How on earth are you supposed to keep this on the field long enough to summon at least one copy of its counterpart, let alone multiple copies to make the team even remotely worthwhile? These monsters weren't fantastic even in the beginning of the game, and they're absolutely terrible now. At least in this game, the two Battle Guards team up properly to dish out the pain big time. Also worth noting, you'll meet this in Kaiba's story, but we'll get around to the monster you need in order to get this right now. Swamp Battle Guard made its international debut in Metal Raiders, reappearing a couple of times after, funnily enough, alongside Lava Battle Guard. In Japan it debuted in Volume 7 and reappeared in their version of Metal Raiders. Everything which applied to Lava Battle Guard applies to this monster in all fairness. Swamp Battle Guard is a little more offense focused, but that's not saying much given how close and how poor the stat values are for these monsters. I don't know why you'd use these in the card game given there are so many better options existing. At least their team's special attack in this game is very powerful, given they tend to hit pretty hard. You will need to have Swamp Battle Guard as your team lead to find Lava Battle Guard back in Kaiba's story, and I'll tell you where when we get to it. Rabbit Horseman made its international debut in Metal Raiders, reappearing in Dark Beginning 2 and the Speed Duels sets. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 7 and reappeared in their version of Metal Raiders. The Japanese name of this card is Minokentauros, a hybrid of Battle Ox being called Minotaur, imaginatively enough, and Mystic Horseman being called Kentauros, or Centaur. There's plenty of imagination involved, but absolutely no rabies anywhere to be seen, which is lucky since I would like to see someone try and put this fearsome beast down a la Old Yeller. Probably wouldn't end very well. It'll go down fairly easily in battle though, because this is not a very strong fusion monster, despite its intimidating look. Battle Ox is more useful despite slightly lower attack, because at least it doesn't cost 3 cards to bring out. Alright, so we've got plenty of places liberated. I've mostly just wanted to have Giselle take care of things. Actually, Molly Erica will probably get there faster. Switch Joey down here. Because we have some new monsters to recruit, but Giselle is probably going to be a bit stronger at that. Because Giselle has Giselle has the magic at his command. So we have to go north through the plains here. And hope we run into what we're looking for. We will wind up finding some new monsters along the way. I do hope it's quick. Joey will be very good for building things. If we... Good, we did find them very quickly. Okay. So, we've got Swamp Battle Guard. We've got trouble! Right, this is what you would call a problem. But then again, I do have some good healing from Illusionist Faceless Mage. We need to paralyze these enemies very quick, smart. They just don't like Dharma Cannon. I don't think they like any of my team. This is a big problem. This is worse than I anticipated. This is really problematic. I just need to absolutely pour on the damage. Now, when we recruit Swamp Battle Guard, we have to go back into Kaiba's story and get Lava Battle Guard. We cannot recruit it. Otherwise, we will be stuck if we do. Wait, it's got its special? Alright. So, Eye of Bewilderment. Stop one enemy from moving. It can do the same thing with magic. And you know what's even dumber? Eventually, Perplex Hex gets the ability to paralyze enemies as well. Illusionist Faceless Mage in that regard is really, really useless. I mean, its magic is what you want to use it for. That level 4 magic is really good. That's the strength of the illusion magic monster. This being an illusion magic monster, it actually had an advantage against the Dark Magician, which shows up in the very first battle between Yugi and Pegasus. Alright, we're going to need some quick smart healing. Alright, pour on the power against Battle Ox, get some quick healing in. Next time Illusionist Faceless Mage takes its turn. Because I showed it off earlier, but Gift of the Mystical Elf does allow us to massively heal our team. I don't think I can break through Dragon Seeker's defense. No. Let's wait for a little bit. Alright, that missed. That's good. What a jerk. Alright, hold position. Wait for it to actually do something. If I'm patient, we might get through this. Because if Dragon Seeker does actually attack... Coward. Alright, so this is not quite going as planned, but I'm riding out their attacks. Thank you. Okay, now we should be able to take that one out of the picture. Straight into the old Hinatama. Good old fire attacks. As they said in Zelda 2, if all else fails, use fire. But yeah, this would be a perfect example of a really, really good janky deck. My favorite jank deck is my silly normal monster deck. It's got practically nothing worthwhile in terms of monsters, but very powerful spells and traps. It's essentially a normal monster deck. Good, we've got the points. So it's a silly normal monster deck with those really crappy normal monsters, as I mentioned. It benefits from all the normal monster support. It does a lot of cool stuff in terms of those spells and traps. But it's just terrible. You can build all sorts of crazy things that just come together really well. It's sort of the same thing with Magic the Gathering as well. There will inevitably be cards, no matter how bad they are, where somebody will look at that card and they will go, how can I win with this? Dharma Cannon's got more AP, which means more Hinatama. So, those janky decks are just all the fun of it. Excellent, we've got the good results and we can go back and get Swamp Battle Guard at some point. Very, very well done. That is a big relief, having that team all set up. Because that one can be a bit of a nightmare if you're not ready for it and you're not bringing really good teams. Like, I'm mucking around. Malairica probably would have done better. I'll be honest. Let's actually just build a supply unit. Top that up. What have we got in terms of trade? Do we have anything new? Shadow Spell, Electro Whip, and Mage Power? No. Giselle's team can enjoy a hard-earned rest. Well, get one of each. And the boss has dragons. Let's get going, Joey. This is going to be so easy. I'm probably tempting fate by saying this, because, I mean, one of those dragons is Kaiser Dragon, and it's a joke. It's still a joke. Look at those stats. It's gained 1,000 points in each of them, and Curse of Dragon has gained 2,000 attack, basically. What is this guy's name? He doesn't even have a name! Might as well just fall over now. He's got no chance. He's not even an actual boss. Just a generic enemy. They didn't even bother to give him a name or a unique portrait. And he is about to get ripped to shreds. Of course, assuming I can actually change the camera around and don't have sort of a face full of dragon tail. How do they wind up so skinny anyway? Like, they're basically snakes. They're basically flying snakes. You'd kind of expect a bit more bulk to them somewhere along the way. I mean, Curse of Dragon is kind of implied to be a skeletal dragon, so you can maybe understand that. It certainly looks very skeletal, though I kind of wonder why they've got all the bones in the wing and things like that. Because I imagine those would be very hollow and probably not very durable, and of course we're faster than crappy old Kaiser Dragon, which doesn't even do anything. Curse of Dragon is putting in the work. It was at least somewhat handy, but jeez Louise. Alright, let's start softening it up. I think really the only difference between the two crushing axe attacks is that Garuzus uses a backhand blow and Axe Raider uses a forehand blow. It's guarded. Do something, you useless flying noodle! And Axe Raider just gets another turn in a row because it can. I mean, Kaiser Dragon doesn't deserve anything. It's a sponge. It's a waste of space. It hardly ever does anything serious when it's involved. You suck! Why else do you think I keep ragging on this thing whenever it appears? It's awful! Congratulations, Kaiser Dragon, you contributed absolutely nothing to the entire fight. What a pathetic excuse for a boss monster. I mean, this guy didn't even have a name, so, I mean, he was always going to be a bit of a pushover. Might as well have just fallen down straight away. That was close, but we managed to beat him! Alright, boss. Fight's on one with numbers alone. You trying to get us all killed? I seriously thought we were going to lose today. If we don't find out how large their force is and plan accordingly, we're going to get our heads handed to us. We need to have accurate information. You better do a better job next time or it might be our last. You got it, boss. Oh man, you are so cool. Stop looking at me like that. Well, Malairika's adoration of his boss is, I suppose, fairly well founded because Joey has successfully completed another mission. When push comes to shove, he is pretty competent, but we survived that run. We might have a bit more trouble next time. We'll see. But either way, the Black Dragon Squad's going to keep getting stronger. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2 returning to base.